Fort Carson, a large part of our southern color community, obviously ensuring the freedom we all enjoy.
There's also an effort to preserve the past. We have learned Fort Carson employs a full-time archaeologist, and we wanted to know more. Only on News 5, Bill Folsom has been to Fort Carson to investigate. Bill?
Yeah, Fort Carson's archaeologist says people are commonly surprised when they ask about her job. The perception of activity on post is associated with blowing things up. And that does happen, but that is also there's also a big emphasis on environmental and historical preservation. It happens across thousands of acres of Fort Carson and the Pinyon Canyon training site.
Architecture.
These are all parts of the original Penrose homestead.
Ancient America.
We have sites that date back 10,000 years ago.
If any activity on post turns up something that appears old, Fort Carson's archaeologist gets notified.
There are times when during training activities we'll get a phone call saying, we think we found something.
It's a call to action and investigation for her office.
All activity must stop in that area until we've determined if it is a cultural resource, and then if it is significant for the National Register of Historic Places.
There's also an element of preserving the post's own history making, a building from World War II or the set from a movie filmed at Fort Carson.
It was a Korean War film that was shot out here in the 60s, and that is now an archaeological site.
Structures, locations, and artifacts. Thousands of things now archived, and discoveries keep happening. They're typically unexpected.
I was coming down from the top of the ridge and I placed my hand on this rock and I looked down and I realized I had discovered a rock art panel that no one had identified yet.
Protections are put in place. Physical markers signal areas for soldiers to steer clear. There are also high-tech digital warnings.
On maps that can work in their Blue Force tracker systems in the tactical vehicles.
Preparing for battle with an archaeologist educating and encouraging preservation of history.
Everyone has some awareness of what is out there and what they are to do and not to do.
And whether a small arrowhead or a large building, if it is preserved, it's called a cultural resource. From Fort Carson, there are close to 4,000 cultural resources, and Pinyon Canyon adds nearly another 6,000. Elizabeth?
Very cool.